Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. This is Chris with the DFA Sports Podcast. We are continuing our segments here when it comes to fantasy and our draft rankings. Today, we're going to go over the tight ends. We have the top 15 here. It's going to be a 12-team PPR league, and we want to get into it right now with number 15, Tyler Higbee of the Rams. Now, Tyler Higbee is a pretty good receiving tight end. He hasn't really been on a very good team and hasn't put up good numbers, but we think going into the high-potent Rams offense this year with Matt Stafford, we should see a marked improvement in his production. We think he'll end up being in the top 15 when it comes to overall tight ends this year. Wouldn't be a bad person to pick up if you need another tight end late in the season or during your draft, that place. Number 14, Jared Cook. Now, Jared Cook is joining the Chargers this year with Justin Herbert and that powerful aerial attack that they have there in L.A. He was a part of the Saints. He is going to have a pretty big jump, we think, this year with the LA Rams or the LA Chargers. They have a ton of already weapons around them. They have a lot of large receivers. He's going to do really, really well up the middle with them. He's 6'5". He should be able to take up a huge part of the zone there in the middle of the field for Herbert, something he missed a little bit last year. Hunter Henry did have a pretty good year with him last year, but I think Cook, with his size and experience, will be able to take a pretty good jump there and have some pretty good numbers at the tight end position at number 14 on our list. Number 13 is Hunter Henry. He is kind of jumping away from the Chargers. He's always usually kind of hurt, but when he is not hurt, he is a top-tier tight end talent. He has gone over to the Patriots, which is a heavy tight end-centric offense. With the rookie Mac Jones being the quarterback there for the Patriots, we think that he's going to get a lot of touches. Specifically, Josh Daniels likes to check down, make the easy plays, make it as easy as possible for Mac Jones. He thinks he's going to get a ton of opportunities there. Him being as talented as he is, we think Hunter Henry's going to have a great year this year at number 13 on our list. Number 12, Robert Tonyan. He is with Aaron Rodgers in the Green Bay Packers. He had a great year last year, but Aaron Rodgers is a fickle quarterback. When he finds a target, he usually sticks with it. Last season, he came onto the scene, tying Travis Kelce with the most TDs for a tight end at 11 for the overall year. His yardage and overall targets were a little low from what you would want out of a high-tier fantasy quarterback or fantasy tight end, but Rodgers loves him in the red zone, so we're going to go ahead and keep him on the list at number 12. But we don't know if Rodgers is going to keep throwing to him or if maybe he moves to a new target this year. That's the reason why we have him so low on the list. He could end up being a top 4 pick again, but we're going to keep our expectations dampened a little bit and put him number 12. Number 11, Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper is a great offensive tight end from the Falcons a few years ago and signed free agent with the Browns. We believe the Browns are going to have a solid year this year. Baker Mayfield under Stefanski is going to have a couple of very large jumps. Austin Hooper is going to be a big beneficiary for that. With OBJ coming back and Nick Chubb running the football, Njoku has not developed into the tight end that they wanted. Austin Hooper is going to step into that role and be a very good outlet for Baker Mayfield. And we think that in his second year, he should be able to capitalize on this and move up to the number 11 ranked on our list. Number 10, TJ Hockenson, an unbelievable tight end talent. With Matt Stafford moving to the Rams and Jared Goff taking over, the Lions offense is going to be in a lot of trouble, even more so than has been in the recent years. The biggest bright spot on the team is TJ Hockenson. The third-year tight end out of Iowa is a top-tier talent, but he's just unlucky with being on the worst team in football. And so we think he's going to be able to do what he does, even though Goff is going to be running for his life. He's still going to get his touches. He's still going to be able to focal point of that offense. He's going to get a lot of garbage time receptions and yards, maybe in a few TDs. So we're going to keep him in the top 10, even though he was 7th overall last year, just because of the quarterback play being downgraded from Stafford to Goff. Number 9 is a big jump for us, is Evan Ingram. He is an athletic wonder at the position. He is one of the best athletes at the position of tight end. The reason why we moved him up this year from 2020 or to 2021 to being in the top 10 is strictly because of Saquon Barkley returning to the lineup. The Giants have one of the worst offensive lines in football, which means Daniel Jones is going to have to check down a lot. With them keying on Saquon Barkley, we think that Evan Ingram and his ability to run after the catch and be athletic in open space should be able to jump up pretty high from 12th on the list to 9th and creep into that top 10. Number 8, Dallas Goedert. Now, the Eagles are far away from their Super Bowl selves that they were a few years ago. Dallas Goedert and Jalen Hurts at quarterback are the steps in the right direction for them to become back to what they used to be. Goedert is the favorite target for the Eagles the last couple of years. He was 5th overall tight end last year, but with the additions of Devontae Smith, Goedert may not be that person that gets as many touches as he used to. We still expect him to get plenty of red zone touches. They expect the Eagles' total offensive production to reduce this year as Hurts comes into his own in the new system. We do kind of have him going from the 8th spot, or from the 5th down to 8th. But we'll see if the Eagles can figure out what they're doing when it comes to their offensive side of the football. We don't project them to be a very good team this year, but we do think Dallas Goedert's going to be a bright spot on that lineup. Number 7, Noah Fant. Again, another unbelievable athlete at the position. One of the best athletes at the position, really close to being the top one. They do have a solid offense, the Denver Broncos, with Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and Noah Fant. Without Drew Lock being in the lineup, he's the only guy in the lineup with a strong arm. They have Teddy Bridgewater for 2021. The Broncos' run game looks to be a little lackluster, even though they should rely heavily on the passing game. With Bridgewater not being able to throw the ball down the field as well, wouldn't be surprised if Fant gets a lot of crossing routes. Should be able to capitalize on that, and his ability to run after the catch. He should be able to take some of those gains and turn them into touchdowns, if not extremely large TD runs. So we have number 7 on our list. Mike Gesicki, just like Fant, he is with a quarterback who doesn't like to throw the ball down the field, not the strongest arm. He does play for the Dolphins. Gesicki is one of the favorite targets for Tua Tagovailoa. The reason why we have him above Fant on this list is because the Dolphins have a little bit better of a roster overall. We like the way he does it. He has crisp route running, his ability to make the catch. He isn't as athletic as Fant, but he can run all the routes, and he has a really good feel for zone coverage and being able to find the weak spots in the zone. We like Gesicki at number 6. Number 5, the only rookie on the list, Kyle Pitts. Everyone has seen all of the replays and on all of his highlight reels from when he was at Florida. Now he's with the Falcons, who have a pretty good offensive system with Matt Ryan, who's still a serviceable quarterback. Their offense has not been the same since Shanahan left as offensive coordinator, but they tend to put the ball in the air a lot more. With his physical tools, he is going to challenge Darren Waller for the most athletic person at the position. Right now, we only have him at number 5 because he is a rookie. The way he looks, the way he performs, just the way his potential is, he could end up being a top 2, top 3 tight end in the league. But we're not going to jump him above the top 4 tight ends just yet until he proves to us this year that he actually can put up numbers that we expect him to do in that offense. Number 4, Mark Andrews. With the ascension of Lamar Jackson to the elite quarterback status, he has to have a dependable target to allow him to flourish. Mark Andrews is that. He's big, he's fast, he's reliable, he's always on the field, he catches a lot of passes. He is Jackson's favorite red zone target. You can't argue with his production. Since he came into the league, he's been a top 4 basically tight end every single year. We have him solidly at number 4 because you can't really take over the top 3 tight ends on this list without making some dramatic improvements to his production numbers. Number 3, we're going to go with George Kittle. He is an animal. He's one of the best tight ends in football. He is a great blocking tight end, but he also is an unbelievable running tight end after the catch specifically. His ability to find the end zone after catching a short pass, find the zone, soft spot in the zone, and continue plays with his ability to break tackles is almost impossible to match outside of the other 2 top tight ends in the list. The problem and the reason why we have him number 3 and not number 2 is because we don't know how Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance situation is going to play out. We do know that he is going to get his touches, his catches. He had kind of a weird year last year being injured, but we will see how that works. Jimmy Garoppolo does like to get rid of the ball quickly. If Trey Lance does take over, George Kittle is going to be his best friend with his ability to drop down the flat and be an outlet for him. Wouldn't be surprised if Kittle has a great year this year, but I don't think he's going to be number 2 or number 1. Number 1 is going to be very difficult to take over. Number 2, we have Darren Waller. He is one of the best athletes on the field, regardless of position. He was cast out from Baltimore a few years ago, came to the Raiders, and he is an absolute freak. He can basically out-jump any safety, linebacker, corner, anyone that guards him, and he can outrun them as soon as he gets the ball. There's nothing not to like about Darren Waller as a tight end. They don't really have that many other targets on the Raiders outside of Josh Jacobs carrying the ball and maybe Ruggs. We'll see how he does. So that could hamper him a little bit when it comes to his overall touches and his looks and things like that. But again, he should have put up great numbers. He put up great numbers last year. I wouldn't be surprised if this year with the new stadium and then trying to do things, they're going to run the offense through Darren Waller. He is obviously their best offensive player. And number 1, without question, is Travis Kelce from the Chiefs. Now, they don't have a short list of people on the Chiefs that don't have skills. Every single person on their team is very, very skilled, but Travis Kelce kind of stands above everybody. He might be the best tight end in the history of the NFL when it's all said and done. He has not surpassed Anthony Gonzalez yet, but he is pulling up on that. Last year, he was the best wide receiving option in the NFL. That includes wide receivers. He basically won the overall yardage for receptions for receivers in the entire year last year. If he did not play, even though he didn't play in Week 17, he had the most yards from any pass catcher, and that's wide receivers and tight ends until Week 17 when they overtook him with a big week. So it's really difficult to knock Travis Kelce off this list. Obviously, he's top 5 player in the NFL according to the players. He's easily the only tight end that you might be able to draft in the first round. He's not a bad person to try to think about in the first round, especially late in the first round. But with Travis Kelce there, Pat Mahomes is going to be able to get him the football. The Chiefs' offense is not short on talent, and he leads that list. I wouldn't be surprised if he does, again, lead the overall pass catchers in overall yards and touchdowns this year. That's the list. It's pretty obvious for us. Travis Kelce's number 1. What do you guys think? Is there anybody else you should add on the list? Is there anybody that we think we should have higher? Please let us know in the comments. Like, subscribe. If you like the content, stay tuned for more. We do have our running backs, receivers, and quarterbacks coming up later this week, and we will see you on the next one.